cultural position.
California is appropriate. It's different than.
Well, and in fact, if you don't vote, you don't exist. So the other thing is, I would highly recommend a very interesting paper to everybody. I think should be required reading, called by Gail Rubin, an anthropologist from the University of Michigan, and it's called Thinking Sex. And it's a really good paper. And anybody wants, I have an actual PDF of it, so if anybody wants to give me your email, send me an email, I'm happy to send you a copy. It's a brilliant paper that is, an anthropologist looking at her own culture, looking at what constitutes the right kind of sex from the wrong kind of sex. Sex that she talks about in the charm circle versus sex outside the charm circle. And I teach here at White, and I teach at the NYU postdoc program. And in almost every case, when the candidates read the paper, they get very upset because they say, "Is this paper endorsing pedophilia?" Because pedophilia, of course, is the wrong kind of sex. So to talk about how we arrive at that position, is in fact to rouse anxieties about what is right, good sex and bad sex. And, yes?
I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but I mean, in a way, a huge recurring theme is that people behave according to their nature, and that through the movie, sometimes these characters behave according to their nature, and it's a good thing, and other times the same pattern of behavior is very bad. And the end is kind of presented as a happy ending. They love each other, they've sacrificed for each other. But in other ways, what they've done in moving towards each other is in many ways really horrifying and destructive. Because in a way, part of the basis of their love is that in a way they have the same nature. They're both people who are incredibly sympathetic. They're both people who very readily cross barriers and change roles and take on different roles in many ways. But, if you look at some of the more concrete rational things, she has accepted the person who she knows murdered the love of her life. He has entered into a relationship with someone to whom he is not just sexually not attracted to, but repulsed by. I mean, his first reaction is to vomit. And notably, they never actually have sex in this movie. So they've entered into a relationship.
After he discovers.
Yeah.
Yes. They did.
Or before. They've kissed, but
I believe she performed oral sex.
She performed oral sex.
So there's not a relationship.
I know Bill Clinton doesn't think that's
I'll be able to say it. And then in the end, he's in prison. So they're in a relationship that is never going to be at least sexually satisfying to either one of them.
But you see, but one might say from the relational turn that they found the perfect equilibrium for their relationship with a glass wall between them.
Right.
And some might say that could be a metaphor for psychotherapy.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
At which point, since we're approaching 10, I'm going to thank you all for coming.